The University of the Southern Caribbean is the Seventh-day Adventist institution. The Seventh-day Adventist Church owns the global education system which encompasses East and West and Central Africa, North America, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and other regions in the world. The University of the Southern Caribbean serves the eastern and southern islands of the Caribbean. This presentation looks at the present financial status of the university and how it can move to the center of tertiary education in the Caribbean. Let us get started solving this financial puzzle. The overarching philosophy of the institution is best captured in the mantra "Beyond Excellence." In context, the university states that its goal is to foster the acquisition of knowledge in the global context. The mission of the university is: the University of the Southern Caribbean seeks to transform ordinary people into extraordinary servants of God to humanity through holistic tertiary education experience. The vision of the university as a Seventh-day Adventist university to fully reflecting the character of God through spiritual, intellectual, physical, social, and cultural development. These contextual statements about the philosophy of education and the operations of this Seventh-day Adventist institution are its best characteristics, but may sometimes become the intrinsic challenges of the institution, especially as it relates to financing. How financed? The university has three main sources of funding. GATE, as it is sometimes called, is the main source of funding. GATE is the Government Assistance for Tuition Expenses Program. This funding source is from the Government of Trinidad and Tobago. Up until September 26, all Trinidad residents pursuing degrees at approved tertiary institutions qualified for 100% tuition payment. This has changed, and now the funding is provided on a needs-based system. This is resulting in a significant reduction in student enrollment and funding for the university. The university is having challenges meeting financial obligations because of this reduction in income. This is a normal expectation, which the source for more than 70% of funding is jeopardized. The university saw a significant increase in enrollment when this funding became available back in 2006. The removal of GATE has the tendency to return the university to the 2006 enrollment standards. 2006 enrollment stood at just under 1,000. GATE funding brought up enrollment to over 4,000 in 2013. To return to under 1,000 students will have significant negative impact on the university. Other tuition. The university also receives tuition from students outside of the GATE geographical region. Unfortunately, the university has tended to plan around GATE students only. Only a minimal amount of the funding comes from these regions, students from these regions. Alumni, the last source of funding, is from small and intermittent allocations from alumni associations and philanthropic sources. These small allocations cannot finance the university. What will happen after the significant losses from GATE in 27 has not yet been fully assessed. What is the financial impact? Impact on leadership, staffing patterns, benefits and buildings, and reserves. Strong leadership has a limitless positive impact on any institution. This university had 4 presidents in as many years. This rupture in leadership has the potential of eroding the foundation of the university. The financial VP now has to worry about both the loss in funding and also the changing philosophies of different presidents. This has the likelihood of disrupting the fiduciary fabric and the patterns of the university. Staffing patterns. Each of the presidents thought that a restructure in staffing patterns could solve the financial problem. In 4 years, there were nearly as many staff reallocations. Each staff disruption sent shock waves through the faculty and staff. Motivation and job longevity have now become real concerns. Valued staff have been seeking alternate careers because of this uncertainty. Benefits and buildings or infrastructure. The university has modified policies like that awarding time and money to faculty and staff wanting to continue education. There have also been requirements for administrators to teach more classes. These changes are creating stress lines across the campus. The university is reviewing plans for refurbishing and expansion of the university's physical plant. Important projects have been put on hold until the university gets on top of its financial position. So what about the reserves? In recent times, the university does not have adequate reserves. Instead, there is a need to use any limited reserves for salaries and other expenses. So what about the social impact? Financial challenges can definitely impact the community, the university, in a variety of ways. The university's standing, enrollment, losing its competitive edge, and losing partners. The lapse in state funding has the potential to negatively impact on the university's 89-year standing in the community. This university has led the way in training many professionals over the years. Alumnus now are members of parliament, policy designers, medical professionals, and other leaders in the community. This financial lapse can jeopardize the standing of these professionals. Enrollment. As word gets out that there is a lapse in funding, the general public will automatically associate this with a drop in academic standards. This has already resulted in a drop in enrollment. This was evident, very evident, this recent semester. So what about the competitive edge the university has? The factors discussed before all speak to a decline in the competitive edge of the university. This university was the first accredited university in the region. It held the lead in many key initiatives in education. This competitive edge can be lost if there is not an immediate reverse in the trend we have seen in the last few years. Partners. The university boasts a relationship with many key partners. If these partners get too concerned about the funding situation, one can see them look to other institutions for partnerships. It can be agreed that the university needs these collaborations to remain viable and competitive. Can the partners be a part of the solution? Now, the university needs to conduct an urgent SWOT analysis. This slide takes an outsider's look at the perceived successes, limitations, and weaknesses of the university. Let's look at the limitations first. Since the change in funding dynamics is the main focus of this exercise, the listed limitations of the university will be seen in this slide. A significant limitation is the university's failure to fully develop an alternate and parallel online university. Leaders responsible for this area of programming have not grasped the need to fully launch an online parallel university. This possibly will immediately remove full dependence on funding from one regional source. With a fully online university, students can enroll from any region. The current online model is scattered and does not meet the standards of online education. Weaknesses. A significant weakness is the need for an adequate customer service model. Students have complained about poor customer service now for a while. Another weakness is the university's constant mobility for top leadership. The changes of the highest ranking leader is disconcerting. It may have been better to implement changes in departments rather than change the president 4 times. But it must have some strengths, don't you think? The university has on its side a history of outstanding success in academic programs in the past. That has faltered in the last 4 years. The university is on record as being one of the leaders in education. That can be easily lost if this present problem is not corrected quickly. The university has always met the guidelines of its vision. This is important to any academic institution. So let's pay some more detail to the strengths of the university. What are these real strengths? A ready market, global backing, institutional support, and its longevity. The university has on its side a history of outstanding success in academic programs in the past. That has faltered in the last 4 years. But the real strengths of this university is that 1. As a church-affiliated institution, the university shall have a ready market from amongst its population. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. It does have a global backing. This university is part of an international network of tertiary institutions and therefore has a global backing. There are SDA education institutions in every geographical region of the globe. Institutional support is another strength of the university. The World Church of Seventh-day Adventists provides adequate support for all its institutions. All the information about each school is published in all relevant institutional documents and public media. The World Church also supplies limited financial support to every institution. But this is really not enough, although it is a strength. Longevity. If it counts for anything, the institution has been around for 90 years. This is no mean undertaking, especially through the challenging ups and downs of the Caribbean economics. This should indicate that the university knows how to navigate difficult times. It must hold on to this strength. But what about its weaknesses? Since there are some. The strengths just mentioned can quickly be eroded if the weaknesses are not observed and factored into the equation. One real weakness is the full dependence on government funding, which is never certain and can be affected by political changes as is happening now. The university will also want to revisit its academic offerings. Any university is as successful as what it offers to the community. Government and the public sector is more likely to support educational patterns that serve the needs of their constituents. As indicated previously, on the main weakness of the university is its failure to open a fully online parallel university. This decision will instantly expand enrollment and increase funding. The university will also need to reduce redundancy. A careful self-study may indicate areas that may be cut and restructured for efficiency. So now let's look at some recommendations. The university must tap into every opportunity to expand the streams of income. This is a must. There's a need to expand the collaborations with community partners and explore ways to offer joint programs to the community. One important initiative can be to offer multiple exit points in each program offering. An undergraduate degree can be broken down into a certificate, then an associate, and then the bachelor's degree, granting students the opportunity to exit at multiple points and maybe earn additional income to come back to continue the program to its end. The university must also look to establishing a functional research and development department. There's a need to restructure the leadership of the university, especially academic leadership. Academics drives finance. This calls for a significant review of the current academic leadership. It will seem that this department is stuck in the past. There must be concerted and consistent staff motivational programs in the university. Just very recently, the president offered and had a great plan which came off to honor all faculty and staff who contributed to university success. These are important changes that can be made. Since there are many markers on the road to financial success, the university has to remain focused on all of them at the same time. Any successful university focuses on programs, people, services, funding, and time limitations all at the same time. The leaders of the university cannot afford to take their eyes off any of these important elements at this time of financial challenge.